Hello and welcome to a day in 15 minutes UPSC Prelims Daily Current Affairs by NIORA IAS. Today is 6th March 2020 and the topics for discussion are the National Interlinking of Rivers Authority, Geo-Imaging Satellite that is GI-SAT-1, cryptocurrencies, red-crowned roof turtle and finally the Freedom in the World 2020 report. Now coming to the first topic of the day, which is the National Interlinking of Rivers Authority, that is NIRA. Now NIRA basically is a proposed body to execute the interstate and intrastate projects in India. Now it will also make arrangements for generating up funds internally as well as externally. Now it is being assigned by a task force for interlinking of rivers, that is ILR, with committee of experts essentially drawn from the Jal Shakti Ministry, Central Water Commission and the NWDA. Now coming and talking about the projects under examination. Now as of now, 6 interlinking projects are currently there, which is the Kenbetwa, then the Daman Ganga Pinjal River, Par Tapi Narmada rivers, Manas, Sankosh, Teesta and Ganga, and then we come to Mahanadi Godavari linking and finally the Godavari Kaveri, also called the Grand Anicut linking. Now these 6 projects are put under examinations of the authorities. Now with regard to the peninsular rivers, understand the center chose on the Godavari Kaveri link than the earlier proposed link, which is Mahanadi Godavari Krishna, Pennar and Kaveri rivers. So now they are focusing more on the Godavari Kaveri link. Now coming and talking about the National River Linking Project. Now this was formerly known as the National Perspective Plan, and it basically envisages the transfer of water from water surplus basins where there is frequent flooding to water deficit basins where there is frequent drought or scarcity of water through the interbasin water transfer projects. Now it links rivers by a network of reservoirs and canals that will allow their water capacities to be shared and redistributed between these different basins. Now coming and talking about the Interlinking of Rivers program. Now the mission of this program is to ensure greater equity in the distribution of water by enhancing the availability of water in drought prone and rain fed areas. Now the project comprises of 14 rivers in the peninsular region and 16 rivers in the Himalayan origin region. Okay. Now we'll also come and talk about the National Water Development Agency. Understand this was set up in July 1982 as Autonomous Society under the Societies Registration Act of 1860. Now coming to the next topic of the day, which is Geo-Imaging Satellite, which is GI-SAT-1. Now there is a news because ISRO has postponed the launch of the GI-SAT-1 due to technical reasons. Now coming and talking about this satellite, the GI-SAT-1 is the first state-of-the-art Earth observation satellite which would be placed in a geosynchronous transfer orbit. Now the GI-SAT-1 will be carried by the GSLV F-10, that is the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle F-10. Now the GI-SAT-1, which is operating from the geostationary orbit, it will facilitate near real-time observation of the Indian subcontinent under cloud-free conditions at frequent intervals. The GI-SAT-1 will find several applications in agriculture, forestry, mineralogy and disaster warning. And understand this is the 14th flight of the GSLV. Now coming to the next topic, which is cryptocurrencies. Now this is a news because the Supreme Court of India has removed the ban on cryptocurrency trading in India. And it also said that the ban which was proposed by the government on trading of virtual currencies was not proportionate, and that the RBI itself had not found any adverse impact or harm done by the activities of these virtual currencies exchanges. So now coming and talking about the cryptocurrencies in general. Understand cryptocurrencies are basically digital currencies in which encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of currency units and verify the transfer of funds operating independently of a central bank. Now cryptocurrencies have an extra layer of security in the form of encryption algorithm. Now cryptographic methods are used to make the currency as well as the network on which they are being traded more secure. So most cryptocurrencies are now operated on the blockchain or distributed ledger technology. which allows everyone on the network to keep track of the transactions that is occurring globally. Now, popular forms of cryptocurrencies are, basically the Bitcoin and Ethereum. So many different types of cryptocurrencies are existing today. Now, coming and talking about virtual currencies, basically what these things are. Now, virtual currency in simple terms is a digital currency which is not a legal tender, which means it does not have the backing of a central bank like the Reserve Bank of India. A virtual currency is used by the community of developers who create it, and cryptocurrency is a form of a virtual currency which is protected by cryptography. Now, virtual currencies are mostly created, distributed and accepted in local virtual networks. Now, just one more thing that you have to note in your mind, understand is that now Satoshi Nakamoto is actually widely regarded as the founder of the modern virtual currency Bitcoin and the underlying technology of generation of Bitcoin, which is called blockchain. So the founder of this thing or the discoverer of this thing is actually someone called Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, coming to the next topic of the day, which is the red-crowned roof turtle. Now, the red-crowned roof turtle is basically a freshwater turtle species, and it is found in the flowing rivers within the terrestrial nesting sites. Now, the red-crowned roof turtle is native to India, Bangladesh and Nepal. Historically, the species was widely spread in the Ganga river, both in India as well as Bangladesh. Also, that it is also usually found in the Brahmaputra basin as well. However, currently in India, the National Chambal River Gharial Sanctuary is the only area with substantial population of this species. Coming to the conservation status, the IUCN status of the red-crowned roof turtle is actually critically endangered, and it is protected under Schedule 1 of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, and it is placed in the Appendix 2 of CITES. The major threat of this animal is actually loss or degradation of habitat due to pollution and large-scale development activities, sand mining and growing of seasonal crops, drowning by illegal fishing nets, and poaching and illegal trade are basically the threats that this creature is actually facing. Now, coming to the next topic of the day, which is Freedom in the World 2020 report. Now, this is in news because Freedom in the World 2020 report actually ranks India among the least free democracies in the world. Now, coming and talking about this report is released by the Freedom House, which is a US-based watchdog which has been tracking global political and civil liberties for almost half a century. Now, coming and talking about India in this report, now the Freedom of the World 2020 report actually ranks India in the 83rd position. Now, India's score fell by 4 points to 71 from the last year's score of 75. Now, this has been the worst decline among the world's 25 largest democracies this year. Basically, the reason understand here is that the annulment of the autonomy and the subsequent shutdown of Kashmir, the National Register of Citizens and the Citizenship Amendment Act, as well as the crackdown on mass protest have been listed as the main signs of declining freedom in India. Now, the report slams the internet blackout in Kashmir, terming it the longest shutdown ever imposed by a democracy. Now, India scored 34 out of 40 points in the political rights category, but only 37 out of 60 in the civil liberties category. The report treats Indian Kashmir as a separate territory, which saw its total score drop very much from 49 to 28 this year, moving the status of India from partly free country to not a free country. So that is the major problem regarding this report. Okay, so that's all for today. If you have any doubts or queries, you can write down in the comment section below. Thank you.
Please like, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Follow our website neoiascat.com for detailed content and monthly prelims digest. Also join our current affairs exclusive test series through the website. And finally, participate in the daily current affairs prelims infotainment quiz at our Telegram channel Neo IAS Prelims at 9:30 p.m. every day. Thank you.